Hello comrades. In today's video, I wanted to provide you with a bit of insight behind my thought process when it comes to programming full body workouts. So there are a few factors that I like to consider. Factor number one is catering to an individual's specific goals. Factor number two is providing well-rounded and balanced work to many muscle groups. And factor number three is efficiency. So you'll see that we use a lot of compound lifts here because, like many people, I don't have an entire day to spend in the gym. I usually have about an hour, so I think that's pretty reasonable for most people. So I try to fit in a good amount of balanced work into that time. And I'll show you a couple examples here coming up on how I like to do that. Huge thanks to the Gopher for joining me for this workout and really pushing herself hard. And thank you very much for joining. All right, to kick us off, Jessalyn is starting with some barbell Romanian deadlifts to target her posterior chain and her hip dominant leg workout. She will be hitting the hamstrings and the glutes very hard here with a little bit of help from the back. And then she'll be following that up directly with some dumbbell goblet squats. These are her quad dominant leg workout for the day, while also still showing some love to those glutes. We love training glutes, very good for you. First up for me is going to be my upper body push, which is going to be, in this case, the bench press. I placed it first due to the specificity of my goals and wanting to get better with it. So I provided myself with the most energy here doing this lift first. As you can see, I may have needed a little bit more because my right arm's given out on me, but I survived. Next up for Jessalyn, she's hitting her upper body pull, which in this case is going to be the barbell bent over row. And she is really gonna be smashing the back and the biceps with this, and then following that up directly with a dumbbell bench press for her upper body push. So doing agonist, antagonist supersets like this is a great way to save time, raise intensity, and doing compound lifts of this nature are gonna work a lot of muscles. So here she's hitting primarily her chest, her shoulders, and her triceps. Next up for me is going to be my quad dominant leg exercise, and I chose to do a box squat. And these with the pause, quite difficult, and in my opinion, I prefer them over a standard squat for most of my practice just because I got a bit more confidence with them. I'm not a great squatter, but I'll get there one day. And I superset that with my posterior chain hip dominant leg exercise, which is going to be, in this case, the single leg Romanian deadlifts. Try to train unilaterally when given the opportunity. Next up for Jessalyn is her accessory movement of the day, which we chose the lateral raises here to help build muscle in her arms, particularly in her side delt on her shoulder. This is going to be giving her great aesthetics, looking thick. And finally, Jessalyn will be hitting core here with her weighted decline sit-ups. These are very difficult and a great way that you can provide progressive overload on an ab exercise without having to do a ton of reps. So you can see she's got the weight on her chest there. Next up for me is going to be my upper body pull. I selected a chest supported dumbbell row, and this exercise again is going to be much like the bent over row that Jessalyn was performing, really hitting the back and the biceps, getting a lot of help from a lot of muscles in the back there. And then I follow that up in the superset with my accessory movement, which is going to be the single arm tricep push down with the band. Love bands, very versatile, great for a lot of exercises, and you can get them in your home as well, very cheap. Finally for me, I am also performing the weighted decline sit-ups, again for reasons like I mentioned before. Great way to apply progressive overload, really build strength within that core there. And good way to end the workout in my opinion. Just giving you one last thing that you're like, all right, I'm never doing that again. Just kidding. Next, I would like to share with you the template that I like to use when selecting exercises for a full body routine. Please note that the order in which these exercises are performed will be dictated by your personal goals and your preferences. The first movement pattern that you'll want to incorporate is going to be an upper body push. I would recommend alternating between a chest dominant and a shoulder dominant movement. The next movement pattern to incorporate is going to be the upper body pull. I would recommend involving both horizontal and vertical pulling movements throughout the week, and also taking time to hit the often neglected muscles in the upper back. Next, we've got our hip/posterior chain dominant leg workout. I would recommend alternating between compound and isolation with this. That way you don't have to do double compounds for your legs, like hit a squat and a deadlift on the same day. You can do your squats on the same day as you do leg curl, for instance. And that brings us to our quad dominant lower body exercise. So much like I was saying with the hip dominant exercises, that you want to split them up, isolation and compound. So that way on your deadlift day, you can do something like leg extensions, and on your squat day, again, you could do something like leg curls. Next exercise selection is going to be for the core. And again, there are many ways to train the core, so I would definitely recommend incorporating multiple throughout the week. So spending a day to target your abs from the top, a day to target them from the bottom, a day to train isometrics, so maybe a plank, and then a day to target the obliques, so something with a twist. And finally, we will select an accessory lift. This lift should be something that will be in alignment with your ultimate goals. So whether it be strengthening a particular muscle group or growing a particular muscle group, I would pick this to target your goals. All right, I hope you found this information useful. If you have any questions for me on how to program your own full body routine, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. Have a great day.